Okay, everybody, get ready to do lesson 6.3 of Geometry 1 Math, Part 1. 6.3 is showing quadrilaterals or parallelograms, and we have a 36-point class worksheet here and 0 points of note-taking today. This is your standard here, Part 1. Teachers, today, here is your bell work. Find the slope of the line, students. And then down here, find the value of x here, students. 5 minutes, students. Okay, welcome back for our solutions here for our bell work. 10 points. And then here would be our slope, be 6 over 6, which would equal 1. Here's our formula for slope. We plug in here, and you get 1. If you didn't get this, you should be getting this, by the way. Copy this down. And then for number 2, here we solve. We know these are equal because this is an isosceles triangle. So we solve for x. X equals 7 here. 6.6, 6.7 words. Copy this down, students. This is in your class worksheet. If both pairs of opposite sides of a quadrilateral are congruent, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So if opposite sides of a quadrilateral are congruent, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So these are opposites here, opposites here. If PQ is congruent to SR, QR congruent to PS, then PQRS is a parallelogram. That's how we can tell for sure that it's a parallelogram. Opposite sides here, PQ, SR, QR, and PS. 6.7 theorem, words. If both pairs of opposite angles of a quadrilateral are congruent, then, so we got, if these angles here are congruent, opposite angles here, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. That'd be another way of proving that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram if both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. And if angle P is congruent to angle R and angle Q is congruent to angle S in this situation here, then PQRS is a parallelogram. As a repeat, this time we're going to use this here and not words. This is a parallelogram. Okay, example 1, use opposite sides. So whether the quadrilateral is a parallelogram, explain your reasoning. The quadrilateral is not. It has 2 pairs of congruent sides, but opposite sides are not congruent. These are congruent. These are congruent. This should be congruent with that. It's not. Okay, students, number 1, guided practice. Teachers, give your students 4 minutes to do this exercise here. Okay, welcome back for our solution here. Did we get a solution there? We didn't get a solution there. So teacher, go back and tell your students what is up with that. Example 2, use opposite angles here to tell whether the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Explain your reasoning. So we have a quadrilateral is a parallelogram because both pairs of opposite angles are congruent, 40 and a 40 and a 140 and a 140. That shows right there that this is a parallelogram. Okay, teachers, another guided practice. Tell whether a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Explain your reasoning here. And down here, same thing. Explain your reasoning. Give your students 3 minutes on this. Every parallelogram has 4 sides, so every parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Some quadrilaterals have no pairs of parallel sides or 1 pair of parallel sides, so not every quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Is this a parallelogram? No, it's not a parallelogram. Absolutely not. And up here is not a parallelogram because the opposite angles are not congruent, so that way you know these are not parallelograms. And that was lesson 6.3. In part 1, part 2, part 3 available here. Thank you.